Welcome to this episode of Eureka. And looking at this bakra, some of you might think that we are going to make a bakra of you. No, certainly not. I mean, whenever we think of goat, most of us think of it as a joke. But the place where I am standing, the Central Institute for Goat Research, they take it very seriously. It's a serious matter in this institute, which is at Mathura. And we are going to have a very wonderful conversation with its director, Dr. M.S. Chauhan. And sir, let's take a look at your institute and then continue this conversation. Meanwhile, please watch this brief profile about Dr. M.S. Chauhan, and we'll take you around this institute. Sir, can we go around the institute and keep watching the brief profile?
Goat milk has been considered a nutraceutical for decades. It is a great alternative to our regular cow milk that contains an array of nutrients which are extremely beneficial for overall development of the body. It is where many scientists are working to enhance and sustain goat productivity. Dr. Manmohan Singh Chauhan is one of them, who is a distinguished scientist of India in the field of reproductive biotechnology of livestock like cattle, buffaloes and goats. Dr. Manmohan Singh Chauhan, presently working as Director, ICAR-Central Institute for Research on Goats in Mathura. Before joining at CIRG, Makhdoom, he served as Principal Scientist in Animal Biotechnology Center at National Dairy Research Institute, Karnal. Dr. Chauhan significantly contributed towards the development of simple method for in vitro production of embryos in cattle, buffaloes and goats and yak. Production of embryonic stem cell lines in buffalo, ovum pickup, IVF technology in cattle and yak, and cloning in buffalo and goat using hand-guided cloning technology. Dr. Chauhan has been principal investigator of 18 projects granted by several research agencies such as Department of Biotechnology, NAIP-ICAR and National Fund of ICAR and Department of Science and Technology. Dr. Chauhan has guided 10 doctoral and 9 master's dissertations. Dr. Chauhan received many national and international recognitions, and noted among them are Fellow of National Academy of Agricultural Sciences, Fellow of National Academy of Dairy Sciences. Also received Rafi Ahmed Kidwai Award by ICAR, Vaishwik Award, ICAR Outstanding Team Award, Erasmus Mundus Award by European Union, and Certificate of Appreciation by Honorable Minister of Agriculture on production of progeny Mahima from a cloned calf Garima II.
So let me start with this first question. I mean, wherever I see your literature, you are talking about goat as poor man's cow. Why do you want to say that goat is a poor man's cow?
Okay, thank you very much for having me. And the goats, actually goats are being raised by the very poor people, and generally you saw that in villages, if you go there, and you will see that the poor peoples are keeping 1 or 2 or 3 goats there. And these poor peoples are landless farmers or some of the marginal farmers. So in that way, what happens that because they are raising the goat, and then people consider them, these are the poor man's cow. So therefore, it is considered.
So it is actually using much less resources to grow, unlike a cow where you need a huge shed, this, that, etc. Right? Huh?
Yeah, and because you can raise your goats in a small place where you don't have a land, but you can raise in the the near to canal or near to the house, and then you can keep two, 3 goats with you, and from the goats you can earn the milk or meat, whatever you want to have. And so therefore you can earn a little amount of rupees for
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. I mean, it's a resource that a poor person can keep without actually necessarily having huge wherewithal. That's okay, very interesting. Let me just go back to your old career. Before coming here, you were working in the National Dairy Development Research Institute in Karnal. There, one of the major work that you started was test tube babies. I'm not talking about test tube babies of humans, but test tube babies of buffalo. Okay, I can understand test tube baby in humans because we all want to have some children. Many of us, I mean, of course, some of us might take the route of adoption, but some people want their own biological progeny, right? So, test tube babies are helpful. Why in buffalo?
Actually, the test tube baby is other part. First and foremost thing is assisted reproductive technologies.
Okay.
So I was working at NDRA Canal on this area because that time the limitations was that we do not have the sufficient elite animals, and where you can have a high yielders of the animals, and in order to multiply those animals, so this is one technique or technology what we call is IVF, in vitro fertilization technology, or test tube baby. So we have initiated that work at NDRA Canal, and where we have produced the number of animals through this technology, which has been optimized, and then now this very routine technology is there.
Okay, you use a term called elite animals. What does that mean? I mean, what does it mean? I mean, why you would call some animal as a elite?
So in case of buffalo, see that this buffalo we have today is around 13 breeds identified, and out of that this Mura breed is one of the very important breed, and where the elite animals means those Muras which are producing more than 10 liters of milk.
Okay.
So around 4,500 liter of milk in a 300 days of time. So we call those the elite animals.
Okay, that's a very interesting stuff. I mean, the test tube baby for buffalo. I mean, it's a very interesting idea per se. But why do we need to actually do it? I mean, as a scientific endeavor, I can understand. But what was our need? I mean, naturally buffaloes give birth. I mean, of course, if few buffaloes don't give birth, how does it matter? I mean, you can certainly live with it, right? I mean, were you doing it only for purely scientific curiosity, or was there a more to it than what we see?
No, it was not for scientific curiosity. Actually, what you are talking is the buffalo. Suppose you have a buffalo, and if she doesn't give you milk and nothing, so you lose lot of amount of money. The farmers cannot raise that. So therefore, the best thing is that to have this multiply of that, and have a calf and have a milk from that.
Okay.
So then, in order to multiply the animals, because in this technology you can have a ovaries, you can have a oocysts in your lab, you can have a number of embryos which can be used for implantation and subsequently production of the calf. So this is the technique from where in 1 year time you can have around 100 calves from slaughterhouse ovaries, good quality ovaries, good quality animals, and you can use them and multiply them faster rate.
Okay, very interesting. Generally, when we talk about hybrid seeds, for example, in agriculture, I mean, you develop seeds in your lab or maybe even a nursery, and then you check it before you release it to public. What exactly were you doing? I mean, were you also looking at the embryos and seeing which are the viable ones, good ones, and then giving it to farmers, or was it still only at the research level?
No. It was not actually. We have to see that with the potential of the embryo. And what happens that we used to get the ovaries from the Delhi slaughterhouse, and from the Delhi slaughterhouse you will find 90% of the animals comes from the western part of UP and the Haryana, and Haryana and western part of UT belongs to the Murrah buffalo. So it means that you are losing the Murrah buffalo there. Sometimes we saw that the farmers used to sell the very good quality animals for the sake of money, immediate money. So he needs money, so he sold out the good quality animals, and they go to the slaughterhouse, and then from there you can save those breeds. You can save those elite animals, get out the ovaries and multiply and keep the embryos with you. Wherever is required, you can go for embryo transfer and have a calf. So this was, and we have now this subsequently implemented in field. So there are many now these firms and companies, they are utilizing this technique in a field level.
Okay, so it's now commercialized
Yeah.
and it's available everywhere. I mean, this is a very interesting story of him working in NRDC, National Dairy Development Corporation, I mean, Institute of CSA, I mean, Indian Council for Agriculture Research, and developed this test tube baby for buffaloes. Perhaps the milk that you are drinking today perhaps came from some buffalo which was born out of his technology. Who knows? Yeah, we'll take a very short break. Keep watching Eureka. Let's move to the other section and then we'll continue this conversation. Keep watching Eureka. We'll take a very short break. Welcome to this episode of Eureka, and we are at Mathura at the Central Institute for Research on Goats. It's one of the institute under Indian Council for Agricultural Research, and this is the only goat institute in this part of the world. It's one of the very unique institution. And we are having our conversation with Dr. M.S. Chauhan, who is the director of this institute. Sir, it's a very interesting thing, and I see lots of goats here. I mean, what breed they are?
So this is the Burberry breed actually, and these are the kids of that Burberry breed.
Okay.
10 days old. And
10 days old?
Yeah, 10 days
Bacha?
old. Yeah, bacha, yes.
Okay.
And this is only the best breed among the goat breeds what we have today.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, now let's come back to the discussion that we were having about your work in Karnal before you came here, right? I mean, one of your major work was what can be popularly called as, let's say, test tube baby.
Yeah, test
So you have taken out embryo, right, and then you are working on it. And one of the area that you started working, or rather pioneered, is looking at the stem cell of this cattle, buffalo, right? So can you tell us about that?
Yeah, stem cells are those cells which can be developed into any type of tissue or organs.
Yeah.
These are basically the pluripotent type of cell. And what we have is, once you have an embryo outside, you can take out the embryonic stem cells from that, from the 9 days old blastocyst, what we talk, and then blastocyst from there. So inner cell mast cells, once you isolate that, culture them further in vitro for a longer period of time,
Okay.
and keep the pluripotency nature of those cells, so can be called as the stem cells, embryonic stem cells.
Okay.
At Karnal, we have developed the embryonic stem cell lines. So right now we have 4 embryonic stem cell lines only available in the world in case of buffalo.
Okay. So that's one of the earliest research on buffalo stem cell that you conducted over there. The other area that you moved on was creating cloning. I mean, we have all heard that the first cloning took place with sheep,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So what is actually cloning? Let's just get the basics. What's actually cloning?
Actually, cloning is a very simple. If you want to create a same type of organism.
Okay.
Say for example, one buffalo is there and it is yielding around 25 liters of milk a day.
Okay.
You can create the same and cloning exactly the same organism or species of buffalo. So this is the cloning. As far as the sheep cloning is concerned, it was in 1997 from the Edinburgh. This was the Wilmot Group has created this. But in that case, what they have done is they have utilized the macro manipulator system.
Very interesting. So this is what you tried in buffalo, right?
Yeah,
so what exactly happened?
Actually, what happens that we have initially the dolly which was produced earlier in Edinburgh. It was produced through the using of the macro manipulator system.
Okay.
Very expensive equipment. It was, the cost is around 45 lakhs rupees. Not only cost, you need to have a skilled manpower in that case. What we have developed is handmade cloning.
Okay.
As it says, the handmade means without using that equipment and through the hand. A small blade, cut the oocytes, remove their own nucleus and put the somatic cells in there, and then from there, so then we develop to the embryo and implant to the recipient animals and the calf.
So basically, instead of using the manipulator, you did everything with your hand. I mean,
So
using simple blades and
That's
things of
right.
that kind.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's a kind of
Yeah.
Okay. So this cloned buffalo, you had given a name, right?
Yeah. So earlier it was because the first was which was born, we were unable to give name by the time she died.
Okay.
And
That was experimental,
Yeah,
so-
that was
yeah,
experimental.
yeah.
After 6 days she died. But the another one which was survived, the Garima. So that was a Garima, name of first son. This was the first buffalo born in the world.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, through the cloning.
It's called
Yeah,
Garima.
Garima.
So what happened to that Garima? Did the Garima survive? Because we know that Dolly did not survive for long.
Yeah, Garima survived, and then Garima produced actually 2 years she could able to survive. But next the same way we have able to produce the Garima 2.
Okay.
And she has a progeny now. She has a 4-5 progeny. She is absolutely fine and very good and producing the milk and as well as the progenies.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, my one question is that again as a scientific curiosity, when people tried cloning with sheep, why not we try with buffalo? It's a very, very interesting part. I'm sure we learned quite a lot of fundamental sciences, right? But does it have any impact on, let us say, the main purpose of that institute? That institute was established essentially to improve the dairy output in India, right? So, from that point of view, do you think that has any role?
Yeah, actually, in case of cloning, suppose you need to have elite animals with you.
Yeah.
You want to multiply them faster rate. The one way is just a simple in the gestation period and have a one calf born. But suppose you have a very late animals, you can take out the cells from that, produce a number of millions of embryos from that, and then use for implantation and produce animals. So in that way you can multiply the high elite animals faster rate. So this is the and through this way at NDRI we were able to produce 14 such animals.
14 such animals through this cloning as a test case.
Yeah.
Okay. See, one of the point that you have been making right from the beginning is elite animals, and in some sense in India we don't have enough of the elite animals. What is your estimation? I mean, like in India, how much of elite animals we actually require and how much we have?
Actually, basically before this we have to see this artificial insemination program. Today we are covering around 25 to 26% of our total breedable animals.
Okay.
And if you want to increase that to up to at least 80%, so you require around 7,000 buffalo bull in case of the buffalo.
7,000 elite buffalo bull.
Yes.
Okay.
Elite,
if really all the farmers in India who are doing animal husbandry,
artificial insemination.
Okay.
So in that way, because and you cannot.
No, you said that we need 7,000. How much we have now?
We have around 700, 800 bull.
Just about 10%, 15%.
That's
less than.
right.
Okay.
So therefore, we need to have a multiply these elite animals, and this is the cloning one way. Where you can have earlier we were using the embryo transfer, multiple ovulation embryo transfer technique, but through that way also you cannot multiply faster rate. So this is the one way, the cloning, you can have exactly the same bull on the ground by using the cloning technology. So this is there, and now the program is going on at NDRI Canal and at the Central Institute for Research on Buffalo. Okay. So they have taken this program and they are working on this in their farm as well as in field level. The normal the buffalo yield is around 5 kg a day, and if you produce that, at least you can double that.
Okay.
And suppose you have elite animals and you can produce the 12 liter a day of milk from that one. So ultimately you are doubling the farmer's income in that way. Okay. So this is one area where you can double the farmer's income, where the milk production will be double and naturally the farmer's income will be increased. So this is the...
So basically the issue is productivity from or milk productivity from that...
enhancement of the productivity of the animals.
This is where we will take a very short break. Keep watching Eureka. We will continue this conversation after a very short break. Let's move to your other section. I mean, these kids, I think, are hungry. Let them, you'll allow them to eat.
They are also enjoying with us.
They are also enjoying with us. Thank you. We'll keep watching. We'll take a very short break and come back again. Welcome back. So, let's now a bit talk about this institute which we have been heading for last 3 years. I mean, when you look at these goats, I mean, we all talk about different breeds, no? So, how many breeds are there in India?
We have today identified 34 breeds and around 68% of breeds yet to be identified.
Okay, so 68% of actual goats which are being reared, we don't know their breed, etc. So, only about, okay, out of the remaining, how much is actually breeds of goats, I mean, goats which are being reared have been influenced by research from this institute?
Today we can say that around 40 million goat has been addressed by this institute, and because we are supplying the the continuous the germplasm quality animals to the farmers, and every year we used to supply 900 around 800 to 900 elite animals to the farmers.
Okay, very interesting. This institute was set up somewhere around 1976 as a center, and then somewhere around 1979 it became a full-fledged institute, right?
Yeah.
So it's now about 40 years, little more than 40 years, right? So in this 40 years, what kind of major work that your institute has done for nation building, for helping people, for building the nation, addressing some of the important challenges?
Yeah, this is very good question. You raised this. And what happens that when our institute was opened, so there were so many breeds which was under the endangered conditions.
Okay.
And we have then propagated these breeds, and we have increased the population of these breeds. Say for example, one breed is Jamnapari. And today we can say that through our intervention, through our research, the breed has been multiplied double now.
Okay.
So this way then we have saved those breeds, some of the other breeds of the Surti breed and some of other this Jakhrana breeds, we are saving those breeds through our intervention. The other thing is that some of the breeds, because initially their weight, body weight was around 20 kg, which has become now 30 kg because
Okay.
of our
So about 10 kg increase in the body mass. So which essentially mean that when they sell for it for meat, I mean it will have a good yield for the poor farmers, right? Yeah, interesting. Then?
And then we have developed the technologies. Around today we can say that 12 technologies has been developed by us,
Okay.
which has been already commercialized and we have given to the farmers. One very recently we have developed one technology is artificial insemination in case of goat. Earlier it was not there.
Okay.
So this is one technology what we have developed, and this is the technology is required for now the commercial goat farming.
Okay.
Because in commercial goat farmers we will keep around 500 to 1000 animals. So he requires the good artificial insemination program, and for that the good protocol system where he can have kids proper kids born.
Okay.
So this
okay.
is the other.
These are some other. Okay, let me also ask you some other question. I mean, which I was witnessing when I was coming to your institute. See, earlier there used to be quite large number of people who used to go keep 1 or 2 goats. Even now there will be, but today you also find large number of people having, let's say, 20 goats, 30 goats. You know, when you are rearing so many number of goats together, then the chances of, let's say, infection or diseases are more. So your institute not only works on, you know, let's say the body mass increase, but also to address diseases, right? So what are the major achievements that you have made there?
Actually, the mortality rate in farm earlier it was around 40%.
Okay.
40%, and through our intervention, where we have to have a proper vaccination program, and to have a vaccination properly available to the farmers doorstep. So then we, through our intervention, we have one program is All India Coordinated Research Project program in case of goat, working in 18 units outside this institute.
Okay.
And through this intervention, we reduce this mortality, and it become now less than 10%.
So 40% mortality to 10%. That's a real improvement, and I am sure that poor people who are rearing goats would be actually benefited out of this, right? Okay.
Not only that, what we have done very recently, we have because earlier we used to give this the animal to the farmers. Then we thought that let us encourage the farmers to have their own farm where he can generate the elite animals. And this is the multiplier farm. So we have developed today 41 multiplier farms all over the India, and different with this, and particularly this breed, what we call is Barbary breeds. So we have today's very good farm system is going on in farmers' doorstep, and their farmers are raising the animals and then having a breedable animals and giving to other farmers in high cost. So this is one achievement what we have made.
See, one of the major use of let's say goat farming or goat rearing is its meat. Of course, it's well known. The second, of course, is milk. But then there are things like, for example, pashmina. I mean, there are specialized goats which gives you this kind of output, right? I mean, have you been also working on this kind of let's say animals with special features?
Yeah, we have one center is Changthang, and that is in Leh.
Okay.
Actually, one unit is there. We are working on that Pashmina goat unit, and we are working on field level, and our aim is to enhance this wool, the production from these animals. And initially the wool was around 150 grams. Now it become around 400 grams per year from a single animal. So it has been increased almost 200 times.
Okay, 200 times there is an enhancement in this animal. Okay. So now, what kind of new innovations are coming up from your institute on the product manufacturing?
Yeah, in our we used to organize the training program from time to time, and generally 6 training program in a year time, where we used to train around 600 to 800 farmers, and we tell them that whatever the value of you have to have a value addition. Because once you have a meat, suppose you are selling the meat in raw, so that will cost lesser. And as compared to if you add something there in serious addition and then make a product of that, say for example, the product is nuggets. If you sell that, so nuggets, then it will give you the more money. So we suggest the farmers, instead of using the raw milk or meat, you use the value added meat or milk, and so that you can fetch more money from the market.
We have entered into 21st century. Things are changing. So for this new times, what are your new vision for this institute?
The new vision is we should have some sort of more technologies which can be useful for the farmers. Number one. The other thing is some advanced type of work. Say for example, cloning, which is going on routinely in case of buffalo and other species. We also would like to have a cloning. And not only cloning, we can have a gene edited animals and desired animals. So you can have a desired meat or desired type of, suppose you want to increase the omega-3 fatty acids in the meat or CLA in the meat. In that way, what the best you can do is you can have a gene edited animals, and which can be subsequently multiply, and you can have a desired type of meat and milk together. So that way it is my aim. In future, surely in 2030, you will listen that this institute has developed such type of animals where desired meat or milk is available to the consumers.
Very interesting vision. Lastly, the moment one talks about goat and goat milk, the first thing that will come to mind of any Indian, perhaps even all over the world, is Mahatma Gandhi.
Yes, sure.
So we all used to know that Mahatma Gandhi was drank only goat milk. I mean, that was his major meal. Why goat milk is preferable to let's say cow's milk or buffalo milk?
I think there was the two reasons were there. One was mainly that since it belongs to the poor family or poor man cow, what we consider that time. So Mahatma Gandhi might have thought that so
we should support the poor.
We should support this.
That's a very interesting point. Yeah.
And I saw in the literature that they have said that he said that the way we are raising our cattle and buffalo, so Mahatma Gandhi perhaps was not liking that way. So he said that I will only drink the goat milk rather than drinking the cattle and buffalo milk. And the other thing what we can say that today the people are talking about the goat milk has a valuable atom inside or what valuable type of protein or amino acid. So probably this could be one of the reasons that
why there is a new interest to goat's milk.
Yeah,
right?
we have a next vision is to have a dairy goat. So dairy goat, we need to have at least goat which can produce 3 liters to 5 liters milk a day. So we are working in this direction. We have just initiated this program now 3 years back, and now probably after 5 or 6 years we will have a goat available which can produce around 5 liters of milk a day. So this is one of the
one of the targets that you are keeping. Very interesting. I mean, the institute has not only been addressing some of the problems that we had, but also addressing problem that is emerging. And this is where we need to end this program. Keep watching Eureka. We'll come back with another interesting episode next week, same time.
Thank you.